Hi, Bonnie here from the Napoleonville branch of the Assumption Library. Welcome to our story time here in Napoleonville. Today I'm going to read My Brother Martin, A Sister Remembers, Growing Up with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by Christine King Farris, illustrated by Chris Saint-Pierre. Read to you with permission by Simon & Schuster Books for Young Readers. Gather round and listen as I share childhood memories of my brother, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I am his older sister, and I have known him longer than anyone else. I knew him long before the speeches he gave, and the marches he led, and the prizes he won. I knew him before he first dreamed the dream that would change the world. We were born in the same room, my brother Martin and I. I was an early baby, born sooner than expected. Mother dear and Daddy placed me in the chifforobe drawer that stood in the corner of their upstairs bedroom. I got a crib a few days afterward. A year and a half later, Martin spent the first night in that hand-me-down crib in the very same room. The house where we were born belonged to Mother dear's parents, our grandparents, the Reverend and Mrs. A.D. Williams. We lived there with them and our Aunt Ida, our grandmother's sister. And of course, my brothers and I had each other. We three stuck together like pages in a brand new book. And being normal young children, we were almost always up to something. Our best prank involved a fur piece that belonged to our grandmother. It almost looked alive, and with its tiny feet and little head and gleaming glass eyes, so every once in a while, in the waning light of evening, we'd tie that fur piece to a stick. And hiding behind the hedge in front of our house, we would dangle it in front of unsuspecting passers-by. Boy, you could hear the screams of fright all across the neighborhood. But mostly we were good, obedient children, and M.L. did learn to play a few songs on the piano, even went off to sing with our mother a time or two. Given his love for singing and music, I'm sure he could have become as good a musician as our mother had his life not called him down a different path. But that's just what life did. My brothers and I grew up a long time ago, back in a time when certain places in our country had unfair laws. That said it was right to keep black people separate because our skin was darker and our ancestors had been captured in far-off Africa and brought to America as slaves. Atlanta, Georgia, the city in which we were growing up, had those laws. Because of those laws, my family rarely went to the picture shows or visited Grant Park with its famous cyclorama. In fact, to this very day, I don't recall ever seeing my father on a streetcar. Because of those laws and the indignity that went with them, Daddy preferred keeping ML, AD, and me close to home, where we were protected. We lived in a neighborhood in Atlanta that's now called Sweet Auburn. It was named for Auburn Avenue, the street that ran in front of our house. On our side of the street stood two-story frame houses similar to the one we lived in. Across it crouched a line of one-story row houses and a store owned by a white family. When we were young, all the children along Auburn Avenue played together, even the two boys whose parents owned the store. And since our house was a favorite gathering place, those boys played with us in our backyard. And ran with ML and AD to the firehouse on the corner where they watched the engines and the firemen. The thought of not playing with those kids because they were different, because they were white and we were black, never entered our minds. Well, one day ML and AD went to get their playmates from across the street, just as they had done 100 times before. But they came home alone. The boys had told my brothers that they couldn't play together anymore because AD and ML were Negroes. And that was it. Shortly afterward, the family sold the store and moved away. We never saw or heard from them again. Looking back, I realize it was only a matter of time before the generations of cruelty and injustice that Daddy and Mother Dear and Mama and Aunt Ida had been shielding us from finally broke through. But back then, it was a crushing blow that seemed to come out of nowhere. Why do white people treat colored people so mean? ML asked Mother Dear afterward. And with me and ML and AD standing in front of her, trying our best to understand, Mother Dear gave a reason behind it all. Her words explained the streetcars our family avoided and the whites-only sign that kept us off the elevator at City Hall. Her words told why there were parks and museums that black people could not visit, and why some restaurants refused to serve us, and why hotels wouldn't give us rooms, and why theaters would only allow us to watch the picture shows from the balcony. But her words also gave us hope. She answered simply, because they just don't understand that everyone is the same, but someday it will be better. And my brother ML looked up into our mother's face and said the words I remember to this day. He said, "Mother dear, one day I'm going to turn this world upside down." In the coming years, there would be other reminders of the cruel system called segregation that sought to keep black people down. But it was Daddy who showed ML and AD and me how to speak out against hatred and bigotry and stand up for what's right. Daddy was the minister at Ebenezer Baptist Church. After losing our playmates, when ML and AD and I heard our father speak from his pulpit, his words held new meaning. And Daddy practiced what he preached. He always stood up for himself when confronted with hatred and bigotry, and each day he shared his encounters at the dinner table. When a shoe salesman told Daddy and ML that he'd only serve them in the back of the store because they were black, Daddy took ML somewhere else to buy new shoes. Another time, a police officer pulled Daddy over and called him boy. Daddy pointed to ML sitting next to him in the car and said, "This is a boy. I am a man. Until you call me one, I will not listen to you." These stories are as nourishing as the food that was set before us. Years would pass, and many new lessons would be learned. There would be numerous speeches and marches and prizes. But my brother never forgot the example of our father or the promise he had made to our mother on the day his friends turned him away. And when he was much older, my brother ML dreamed a dream and turned the world upside down. This book is written as an accurate reflection of the childhood experiences of my brother Martin, the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Although many stories have been told about Martin's childhood, this one is firsthand. As the sole survivor of the family into which Martin Luther King Jr. was born, I feel it's important to share some true, funny, intriguing elements of Martin's earlier days. No other document can share this true story. Many see Martin as a very serious-minded individual, stiff-necked and always focused. What has not been emphasized enough is that Martin was once a boy. He, like others, developed gradually. He was funny, he was curious, he liked to play, he was a regular fella. I wanted to reflect another side of Martin's life story. The days that I spent with him watching him as we grew older were valuable and meaningful exercises for me. He set him on his ultimate course. He indeed became a world leader. His contribution to the world cannot be denied or ignored, and it's important for young people to realize the potential that lies within each of them to do this and greater works. I believe that the poem by Mildred D. Johnson, entitled "You Can Be Like Martin," reflects my feelings in this regard. The highlight of the book, I think, is the moment that Martin expressed his commitment to effect change. Perhaps the information contained in this book will inspire young people to also become leaders of the future. Aside from my memories of Martin's earlier years, I owe it to him to tell the full story. We had a great time as kids. I miss those days. The memories that I share here help to bring these times back and ensure that they are available for generations to come. Christine King Farris, June 2002. And this is the poem by Mildred Johnson, You Can Be Like Martin, a tribute to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin was a peaceful boy, a peaceful when a man. He wanted peace for everyone, all throughout our land. You can be a peaceful child, even a peaceful man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin was an intelligent boy, intelligent when a man. He wanted good schools for everyone, all throughout our land. You can be an intelligent child, even an intelligent man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin was a proud boy, and proud when he became a man. He tried to teach pride to black people all throughout the land. You can be a proud child and proud when you're a man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin was a reading boy, kept reading when a man. He knew good readers were needed all throughout the land. You can be a reader. Read on when you're a man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin was a speaking boy, kept speaking when a man. His words touched many listeners all throughout our land. You can be a speaker. Speak on when you're a man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin was a praying boy. How he prayed when he was a man. He prayed that men would do right deeds all throughout the land. You can pray in your own way. Pray more when you're a man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin had a dream, that all people would be free, to live and work together in a country filled with peace. You can be a dreamer. Keep dreaming when a man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin Luther King was a warrior of love, a kind and loving man. He wanted all to be loving all throughout our land. You can be kind and loving, grown to a loving man. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. Martin Luther King sang, "We shall overcome," sang it throughout our land. You can overcome, my children. Yes, you can. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. You can be like Martin. Yes, you can. I hope you liked our story today. I liked seeing what he was like as a little boy, and I liked to see his family and what his family was about. Who can better tell that than a sibling, a sister or a brother? I think this is a great story. Hope you liked it, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.